All right, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how to do a three-dimensional, uh, how to do a three-dimensional initials and kind of have a little bit of fun with this. And some of you are going to want to 3D print these and some of you may not, but we're going to have a little bit of fun. So you can again go to either part here or you can go up to new and you can select a standard IPT. And I've already done that because sometimes this computer works slower than molasses in the dead of winter. So I'm going to go over here to part one, and we're just going to start here with part one. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off with a new two-dimensional sketch. So I just click up here on the pencil icon for a new 2D sketch. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the XY work plane. I'm going to just bring that XY work plane down a little bit here, and I'm going to select something new that you guys haven't done before. I'm going to select text. And what I'm going to do is come in here right at the absolute zero, and I'm going to click at absolute zero. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my initials in there. So my first initial is going to be B, but what I'm going to do before I even do that, I'm going to change this size here. I'm going to go ahead and change this to 2 inches. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to 2 inches. And I'm going to come back in here in the box, in the text box, and I'm going to put a big old B in there because my first name is Brad. I'm going to go ahead and put a B in there, and that is going to drop that right down, and it's going to put it in the negative quadrant right there. It's going to drop that in there, and once you get that done, I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. And I'm going to go up here to my dog house and just click on that. I could hit F6 as well if I wanted to. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. And I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to select the text to extrude. And I'm going to change that, the size of that, to 2 inches for now. And I might change that back to something else, but for now we're going to go ahead and just change that to 2 inches. And I'm going to, you can change the font if you want to. You can go in and you can make it a different font. I find that the block lettering with this works really, really well. And actually that looks a little bit wide to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to extrusion one over here in my browser bar. I'm going to right click on extrusion one and I'm going to edit the feature. So if it allows me to, a little bit slow here. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go 1.5 and try that. See how that looks. I think that might look a little bit better. And we may adjust it as we go on. Now, fortunately, I have a flat back area here that I can now put another another uh, work plane on. So I can put a sketch on there. Now, if you don't have what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put a work plane on here. So you would have to come over here to work plane and select plane. And you come over to your browser bar and expand the origin. And what you would do is you would put on an XZ work plane, okay, or excuse me, a YZ work plane. Now you could bring that YZ work plane up front here. You notice that if I just touch it up here, it will bring that YZ work plane right there and put it on there. So I could either put this on the back side of mine, or I could just put it on that work plane. And F5 here. I could put it on the work plane that I just made, which is kind of neat. So if I come over here and I do this on the work plane right here, and I'm going to go in and get my text tool again. And with my text tool, I'm just going to come in here, and I know that it's going to go downward here. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to project this geometry. So I'm going to go up to this tool called Project Geometry. And I'm going to just click on some of these lines up here. I'm going to go back and get my text tool. And I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to go to this corner right here. And again, I'm going to change this to 2 inches. So I'm going to change that to 2, and I'm going to come in here, and my last name is Hill, so I'm going to put a big old H in there. And whoa, wait a second, what the heck happened there? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select this. I got to remember, you got to exit out of the tool. So once I select this, okay, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to rotate it. All right, so select, I want a center point. Um, so I'm going to select that. That's the only thing that's there to select. My center point is going to be right here. And so what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just rotate this back over here. And I'm going to do 270 degrees in there. So for me, it's 270. For you, it might be 90. It might be something else. You may not have to do it at all. So we're going to do that. I'm going to move. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this. And I'm going to line it up as best I can. I'm going to line it up as best I can with the corner of my B. So if I go in here and I just bring it to that yellow area right there, and I do that, okay, I'm pretty good shape right there. I've got to come down just a hair because I can see that it's not going to go there. You can see that that's going to go in there just like that. Okay. Now you can see that the B on the other side is going to need to be a little bit smaller. So I can, if I go up here and I look at this and I look at what it's going to look like, I know that my B, when I originally did that, that B came out this way. I know that the backside is here. So I can go ahead and move that this way. And then I can adjust I'm going to adjust my extrusion over here. And I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. So I'm going to take that down just a little bit here. And really what I can do here to make it even better is I can come in here and I can go to inspect and I can go to measure and I can hopefully measure just from here to here. And let's see if that gives us a measurement. 1.3. Yeah, it doesn't give us the right measurement, does it? No, that did not give us the right measurement. We're not really seeing that distance from here to here. And so we may have to play around with that a little bit here. Let's go on back to our 3D model and close this down. We'll go ahead and extrude this and work it from there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to extrude the H. So I'm going to go up to extrude. I'm going to select my H. I want it to go the other way. So I'm going to turn this thing around, right? So now if I extrude this like this, what it's going to do is it's just going to make this H over here and it's going to make this all kind of funky right in here. And that's really not what we really want to do. And so we can take a look at this whole thing and see, what it's going to look like. What we want to do is we want to take away some of this material. So we're going to come over to this button here under Boolean, and we're going to go to this one that says intersect. And so what that's going to do is it's only going to extrude where it intersects the other area. And we're going to click on OK right there. And look what we've got. So now, if I come in here, right, you can see that it's an H from there, it's a B from here. Oh, let's do this. Let's do it this way. And let's spin it this way. So now you can see it's a backwards B, but now you can see the H from this side. And now you can see the B from that side. And really pretty cool, right? And so if we 3D print this, it's really going to look pretty neat. So a couple of things that were just real quick with this, go to home here, is we've got this funky thing right here. We're going to go ahead and go over to the browser bar. We're going to right click on the browser bar and we're going to take the visibility off of that work plane. So it just looks a little bit nicer there. Now remember I said that we had a little bit thicker area over here than over there. It's really looking pretty good. And what it did was that it just intersected. So these two should be the same size. And let's see if inspect with our measure, if that will. That's 2.66. That is 2.6. That is 2.62. So this one's a little bit wider. So if we wanted to, we could take off 2.66, 2.62. We could take off a 0.004 off of this. So we could go back into here, back into our 3D model, and we can go ahead and close this down. And with my extrusion one, I could go back and I can edit the feature, okay? And instead of 1.5, I could go back on that and I can make it so 1.406 I think would be correct. 1.496, excuse me, 1.496. And if we correct that right there, that just brings it back a little bit smaller. And if we go back into our inspect, right, we can come in here, we can go 266, and we can go here. Oops, go back in here. It's 260. Well, didn't do my math very good, did I? So we still need this to go down 0.006. So we'll go ahead and we'll change that. We're going to go ahead and take off that 6 right there. Click on OK, and that should then hopefully, unless I'm doing the wrong side, that should. There's the H, and those look even, and there's the B, and that is done. And that's what we're going to do. So there's one done right there. All right. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to play around a little bit with another letter. So some of you that might have like a C for a letter or something of that nature, or a T, those are not always easy to do. So we're going to play around a little bit with that and see what we come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a minute here. I'm going to open up another IPT. Okay, so what I've done here is I've already made a C on here, because this is going to be a little bit more interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the initial CL for this. So let's put another 2D sketch, and I'm going to put it on this surface right here. And I made this one 2 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and take a text, and I'm going to come in as close as I can to this corner right here within reason, and I'm going to put my text box in there. I'm going to go ahead and make this 2 inches again, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to put a big L in here, so capital L. Click on OK. And that doesn't look like the same height to me, but I'm going to escape out of here, and we're just going to do this just for fun. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here and bring this all the way over here to the left. Put that in there. Looks like we could make our C a little bit bigger, so I'll bring this over here and just do it that way. And try to line that up the best I can. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that sketch right there. I'm going to go ahead and go back to extrusion 1, make that a little bit bigger. Not by much, but I'm going to edit the feature, and it's probably 1.5. We're going to make this, well, that's 1.05. That's probably why. And that might be a little bit big, so we might make it, let's try 1.4, just for kicks and giggles here. And we'll see how it lines up here. Maybe it doesn't line up so well, you're right. Okay, so it actually looked much better at almost 1 inch. So we're just going to go in there and just play with it a little bit, and we're going to edit that feature, and we're going to go. Let's go 1.2. Click OK and see how that looks. And that looks pretty good right there. It really looks pretty good. We're going to try that, and then we can always play around and move it around some. So 1.2 for the CL there. We're going to go ahead and do an extrude. We're going to select this, and it's coming out this way. Now, this is going to be interesting, because if I go in here and I go ahead with the intersection right here, look what happens. I lose the back part of my C. So what I'm going to do is select this to next, right over here. I'm going to select to next, and I'm going to come right onto the back of this, and hopefully that will do the trick here. So let's click on OK, and there we go. So it looks really funky right here, but if we go to the front, there's our C. If we go to the side, okay, and we go to the right side view, there's our L, so CL. So there's another one right there. I'm going to pause. I'm going to go ahead and start another one here and get another one going up, because the T is another one that we had some funkiness with in my first class that tried this. So, okay, so I've got another C here, and I'm going to do CT. That's another set of initials that might be common. And I think that we always have to think about, well, how can we put one initial over top the other and make it look right? So you always have to think about that. Which one comes first, this C or the T or whatever the case might be. So let's try this. I'm not sure if it's going to work yet because I haven't done one of these. So we're going to come down here. We're going to put on this flat area here. And again, if we don't have a flat area, we're going to put a work plane in. Right? I'm going to put a sketch on that surface right there. And I'm going to come in here with, I'm going to get as close as I can to that corner. And I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go ahead and make this 2 inches again. And I'm going to put in a capital T. We're going to see what happens here. All right, now the T is a lot wider. So we have to move this to the left. That's the way it was done. I'm going to escape out of my tool and move this to the left. And it's always good to line that up with absolute 0 because that way we know when we line it up with absolute 0, at least we know where we are with a particular anything that we're working on, right? So we're going to go ahead and finish that sketch. And obviously we have to bring this out quite a bit further. So we're going to go into extrusion 1 here. We're going to edit the feature. And maybe this time we are going to take it to 1.5. Let's try that. Click on OK there. And let's take a look from the right side view. No, we still have to go a little bit further than that. So we're going to go back in, right click on extrusion 1. We're going to edit the feature and we're going to take that up. Let's try 1.7. That might be a little bit too much, which it is. So we're going to go back, edit it. And we're not doing anything really uber precise here, super precise. We're just going to go ahead and get something close. Look at that, just about right on, now, isn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what we can do with this one. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go into extrude. We're going to select the T. We're going to again go backwards and we're going to go to intersect. And let's see what happens here. We click on OK. And look what comes up there. We got a C going this way and we got a T going that way. Now, this is going to be kind of funky because if you take this and you go ahead and you 3D print this, it's not going to stand up too well on your desk. So what we might have to do here is we're going to go ahead and rotate this to the bottom. I'm going to put a 2D sketch here on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is put I think a circle on here. Now, I'm not really finding the center there. So what I'm going to do is this thing called project geometry. So I'm going to go ahead and project that geometry. And I'm just going to rotate it this way so I can kind of get that an idea of where I want to be. So I want to be right smack dab, pretty much in the center of this. And I'm just going to eye this up. I mean, we can go in there and I'm going to bring this out to, I think 1.75. Let's try that. Oh, that didn't get the 1 on there, did it? 1.75. Maybe it did. Okay, so 1.75 circle, you can see, that we're not quite there yet. So what we can do is we can just go here to the bottom and I'm going to click on the view cube here to square that up. But I can go to my dimension tool here. And because I projected that geometry here, I can go ahead and I can measure from here to here, right? And I can say, okay, 1.32 right there. And actually what I can do instead, this is called, I'm going to do something called parametric dimensioning, which is really neat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dimension from here to here, bring this out, and cancel. It's not going to let me do that. All right. So I was kind of hoping it was going to let me do that, but it wasn't. It's not going to let me do that. So I can come back in here. I can do a construction line, which is this device right here. And what I'm going to do is just from at the center mark here, come down to here. Okay, hit escape. All right, I can now take my center point and I can come over and I can see that green dot right there. I just got that green dot right there. That puts it in the center, and that's called a snap. It's snapped right there, and I'm going to finish my sketch, and then I'm going to extrude this out or down, and I'm going to extrude this at 0.25. Let's try that. Okay, and see how that looks. And it might be a little bit too thick, but I think that looks pretty good there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a fillet on it, or a chamfer. So a fillet, we can just come here with this fillet tool. And a fillet, what it's going to do is it's just going to round this off. And that's actually called a round. Fillets and rounds are devices that we use all the time. So we're going to go ahead and apply that right there. You could put a chamfer on there. So we could Control Z that off. And if you prefer a chamfer is just an angle. So it just does an angle, so we can apply that, and that puts the angle on there. So it's pretty cool. So now it'll stand on your desk, and you can paint the base a little bit different color than that, and there's CT. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you got a big kick out of it. Those of you that want to 3D print yours, you need to let myself know, or Miss Smith, or somebody else, and we'll see if we can do that for you. Have a great day.